Scruffy Audio Network.
Never.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna apologize.
I have to apologize. Yes.
To Matt for.
So Matt,
No, it's too late. You've already ruined his life. Yeah. He's so mad at you.
I'm sorry. I called you out for being an idiot about 6 podcasts ago. Really, because you were, but I said if you listen to this, then I'll apologize. So I'm sorry.
That's
Matt.
the classic.
You are better
non-apology apology. Okay.
Well, it still doesn't change the fact that he botched the podcast that one time. But I apologize, Matt.
I apologize that you heard me say you're an idiot.
Yes. That is
okay,
so true.
you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Hey, welcome to Why Would You Go There, podcast about travel. I am your host, Troy, with your less than host. I keep using that joke because it's so funny to me.
Oh, yeah, hilarious.
And what's your name, sir, kind sir?
My name, you can call me, just call me Sir, the rest of the podcast.
Okay, sir. And
Sir Lee.
This is another Why Would You Go There vignette.
Vignette.
Yeah, we're going to talk.
Why do you keep saying that? Why don't you just say stumpy like it really is?
Because I like the
Short,
word vignette.
stumpy.
I'm trying to class the joint up, all right? And look at you. You're not trying to get anything classy.
What is that? Is that New Orleans language?
I think it might be French, but I don't know that it's New Orleans language.
Yeah. That's funny.
New Orleans is a whole.
You do believe that.
Yeah.
All
okay,
right.
so today we're talking about one of your favorite places, the southern part of heaven.
Yes.
Do you
So
know that
true.
that's what it's called, the southern part of heaven?
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know if you knew that. What are we talking about?
Chapel
Hill.
Yes.
Yes, some place that I have driven through.
Chapel Hill,
And haven't
North
spent
Carolina.
any time there, but you've spent some time there because I believe they have a. Is it a gymnastics team?
They do. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I'm a huge North Carolina basketball fan. I'll travel to go see them play, different places. Or
Yeah, you're a
whatever.
Tarfoot, right?
Yeah.
Tarfoot.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I thoroughly enjoy watching them. I've really seen them play all over the country. I mean, gosh, I can't, New York, Chicago,
Don't name
Las
them all.
Vegas.
Don't name
Okay.
them all.
All right, done. But that's what we're talking about today, Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
But it's more than just basketball in the college town.
It is. It is not a whole lot more than a college town. No, really, it is more than a college town. But, I mean, that college town makes it what it is. The college it makes it what it is. Because Chapel Hill itself is not a big city. But I'm pumped that we get to talk about
Is it a city or is it a town? It's really kind of a town, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of small.
yeah.
So, a little bit of history for you. This is probably my contribution to the podcast.
It better be positive.
It was. So there was a church that was up on a hill. It was this little chapel, and they called it Chapel on the Hill, and then it shortened to Chapel Hill. And that church actually is where the Carolina Inn stands now. So do you know where the Carolina Inn is?
Yeah.
So right there, that's the Chapel on the Hill, and then it became Chapel Hill. And when they had their first charter in 1871, they said, "Yeah, we're going to call this place Chapel Hill."
Yeah. So the Carolina Inn is actually famous. I mean, it's still going now.
Yeah.
It's where if you ever get a chance, I've not stayed there, but if you ever get a chance to stay there, you should stay there. But we've walked through there, and kind of walked around. It is an inn. It's a hotel basically, but it's super nice and it's right on campus. And you hear about that. That's where people stay whenever they're
because it's an inn.
The wealthy people.
Yeah.
And I don't stay there.
You stay at the Hampton down the road.
That is so true. Which is an inn. Thank you, Hampton Inn. All right.
It's where all the wealthy people stay at the Hampton Inn. It's just like being in the Hamptons, and it's an inn.
In the Hamptons. That's so awesome.
Oh God, I'm glad we entertain ourselves.
Yes.
So
Yes.
besides sports. Well, really basketball. I mean, there's a football team, but really.
Yeah.
And besides college, what else is there to do in Chapel Hill?
So I'm going to talk about the college more than anything.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not just about basketball. I know you don't want to hear about basketball the whole time, but the university itself is a really nice campus. I mean, it is a cool campus. It's a great university. It's always labeled as one of the best public universities. But it's got a great campus. It has all kinds of quads and what are they, like courtyards that you can sit around.
Sure.
I mean, which most schools do. So it's always kind of fun to just go there and just kind of walk around the campus and just see the different areas. So those are cool. And then, of course, the buildings are always pretty. But I'd mention the Old Well is a place that you will see if you ever Google a picture of North Carolina. You're probably going to see one of two things: the Old Well or the bell tower. And the bell tower is exactly what that is. It's like a prominent bell tower that's on campus, and that's what you see on a lot of the pictures of it. And then the Old Well is basically a well that
is old.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Enough said. Yeah. No, but it people literally used to use it as a well. Now it's a water fountain, more or less. They kind of did away with the well part fairly recently, but it still has the same structure around it, like the white topped column that goes around. The well.
Those are just some things that you are going to want to see when you go.
I think so,
campus.
Because again, that signifies the University of North Carolina. And then,
so where'd the Tar Heel thing come in?
So the Tar Heel thing, this is like a Stonewall Jackson thing, but
there's only three of us that know that reference, but whatever.
Yeah, that's true. So North Carolina was known for being a tobacco state, right?
Okay.
So you walk through the tobacco fields, you get
tobacco juice on your heel.
Yeah, all over your foot. So that's kind of the biggest reason for that. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's basically
good enough. Good enough. So what else is there to do besides going there? If you're going to walk around campus and see a sporting event?
Yeah. So I want to a little bit more about the campus, the Carolina Basketball Museum. So if you're any kind of sports fan at all, and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, but this museum is awesome. I mean, it is all about North Carolina basketball. It's right next to the Dean E. Smith Center.
Do they just have pictures of Michael Jordan everywhere?
There's not just, but yes, there's a lot of stuff. It's interesting because, everybody knows Michael Jordan, and there's like a letter from Dean Smith, to Michael Jordan in there that's basically during the off season, Dean Smith used to write letters to his players. So there's a few of those in there. And the letter was like, Michael, you need to work on your jump shot, basically. So it's awesome that that's in there.
Oh, man.
But it just has.
Well, I guess Michael Jordan should thank Dean Smith. Hey, thanks.
So
I did that.
Yeah, because he probably never would have done that without Dean Smith. He'd just have a crappy jump shot. Yeah. But no, that place is fantastic. Even if you're not a North Carolina fan, if you're any kind of sports fan, you're gonna enjoy that just because it has so much history, and it's got all the different trophies and stuff that they've won over the years because it's such a prominent program in college basketball. And then the other things that they're good at campus is they've got football, but they're really great at women's soccer. So I would say watch any of these events. They have a great women's lacrosse team. They have a great baseball team. I mean, all of those sports, maybe not the football, but all those sports compete for basically national championships every year. And they all have fantastic state-of-the-art facilities, which many places don't have. They're not as nice as North Carolina. So I'd say kind of go watch that stuff. And then when you start venturing outside of the campus, there's going to be a place called Franklin Street, which is kind of their strip that has like different bars and restaurants and shopping, all that stuff. So that's where you're going to want to go to kind of hang out.
It's like a big pedestrian area.
Yeah. Okay. It's right across from the campus, and it's just got all kinds of different stuff. Top of the Hill is, if you're anywhere near there, I would say go to Top of the Hill restaurant. That's where they do a lot of like the call-in shows for the football coach and basketball coach and stuff. But it's a really cool place.
It's neat to see.
Every college place has that, but it's pretty cool. And then Sutton's Drugstore. It's a pharmacy. It is. You're going to go in there and you're going to be like, oh, interesting. But it has like hamburgers and hot dogs and almost.
Yeah, it's like an old school.
Yes.
Yeah, drugstore.
But it has. What's great is all the athletes. If you're a fan of athletes, the sports, they go eat there.
Oh, cool.
And there's pictures of them just going back for years and years and years of people just going in there and just getting a hamburger or hot dog or whatever. And of course, it's dirt cheap. You can eat there for $7-8, whatever. So I would say go in there and look at that and look at all the pictures and stuff. And they have jerseys hanging down and all that stuff. So it's interesting because it looks a little underwhelming, but you can also kind of appreciate it for what it is when you walk in there. But it's really cool.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. I wish we had some kind of tradition like that here in UT instead of just, what we like to do is just tear everything down on Cumberland because we need a new firehouse subs or something. No, we don't want any tradition. Let's just rip it all down. Yeah.
That's true.
So I noticed when I was researching this a little bit that there are some other things to do in Chapel Hill.
Yes.
There's an art museum. They have a
Yes.
botanical gardens, and they actually have a planetarium there too.
I wasn't going to talk about the art museum much because I haven't been there, but you're right. The botanical gardens I've actually done, and it's really cool. So I would say if you're in the area, you definitely need to go there. It's pretty big acreage. It's got, different hikes and stuff that you can walk around, or maybe not hikes, walks,
just walks,
that you can walk around. But yeah, it's one of the better botanical gardens I think that I've been to. So I would say that, and then the Moorhead Planetarium that you referenced, in the Science Center, it's the largest planetarium in the Southeast. So
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So that those two things are pretty cool. I'd say that you gotta check those two out if you're in the area and looking for things to do.
Okay.
And then kind of one other thing, we recently talked about the Biltmore.
Oh, yeah.
With the Biltmore House.
So go back and listen to that if you haven't.
Yes.
And that kind of ties in with botanical gardens too, because they have. Yeah,
very true. Yeah. And then there's a Gimgul Castle in Chapel Hill. So it's a castle in North Carolina.
Okay. So
it's cool in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Now, you used to be able to tour it, but it's privately owned now. So I think for a long time it's been privately owned. So you can't tour it anymore, but you can still drive by it and see, and it's not really far away from campus.
Okay.
So I'd say it's
Very
worth
cool.
driving by if you want to see a castle in the middle of North Carolina.
Yeah,
because it's
so weird.
uncommon. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
I think that because it's so mountainous over there, and just the landscape is so pretty. I think some rich Americans early on said, "Hey, I'm going to build something that looks like Europe."
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
But those are probably the biggest things. The campus is going to dominate basically everything because it's part of what it is. And then, of course, you'll have like bigger cities like Raleigh closer by or whatever. But that's kind of
good deal.
Mostly what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, well, I've driven through. I have not spent any time walking around campus, and I've never seen a game there.
What's your problem?
Yeah, well,
we need to go see
you
a game.
never invited me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
But I have driven by through the campus and everything, and it's like driving through any well-maintained college campus.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that gives folks maybe a reason to go to Chapel Hill. I think sports is going to dominate your reason. You can make it a weekend or a long weekend and see some of these other things, but you're really probably trying to go for a basketball game. Let's be honest.
I'll tell you one time my wife and I went to a Friday night basketball game, a Saturday football game at noon, a Saturday evening women's soccer game, and then a Sunday basketball game.
Oh, wow.
Again. Yeah, so we had a jam-packed weekend.
Yeah, that was a weekend.
But yeah, so it's a cool place. If you're in the area, then give it a shot. And I'd recommend that Carolina Basketball Museum. But what else?
Well, why don't you end with our motto?
Why don't you end?
You love doing that motto. That's your thing.
Well, I don't. I think the motto stinks. We need to change it then.
Oh, man.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay. Well,
for now.
Yeah, for now. Hey, we're about to hit a milestone, and I hope this podcast, by the time this podcast comes out, we've hit it. We've had almost 10,000 downloads.
Nice.
So it's coming, and it's going to happen, I think, before this podcast even hits. So I wanted to mention that. Yeah. And
we may hit 11,000, 12,000 then by the time this hits.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. We've only been doing this for a year and a half.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, cue the music. Okay, well, end with our motto, man.
It's better to go someplace that you hate than to not go anywhere at all.
Yeah, so get up. Go to Chapel Hill. Go
traveling.
Yeah, do something.
Experience life.
All right. Okay, hey, you Paul came up with that motto, right? You remember when he came up with that motto? Yeah, you were...
I don't remember, actually.
That was the very first podcast we were having this conversation. He said, y'all need a motto. Yeah. And he came up with that. So you just... Yeah.
Well, so how can we change it, though? How can we gently tell him his motto sucks?
Well, thank goodness he never listens to our podcast anymore.
He has never made it to the end of this one. He's going to have no idea.
We can do basically whatever we want, and he'll never know.
Yeah. It's good. I think it needs a little tweaking.
It's too late now. It is too late. You have offended the studio owner. All right.
Dang it. This is probably our last podcast, so we don't have to worry about it anymore now.
All right, shoot. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.